Okay, we're back. It's day 2. Yesterday we made bouncy ball, which the directions said to keep in a plastic bag so it doesn't dry out. I kind of wonder what would happen if it dried out, so I might try it, but I also want you guys to be able to see it and touch it when we get back to school, so I might have to wait on that. Anyhow, we've got day 2, so here we go. Has our 2 in the corner. I'm gonna push, pull on it. Here we go. All right, I don't know what this is gonna be. It looks colorful though. See it? All right, so it says Hydro Super Sand. Seems pretty interesting. I think I want to figure out what the word hydro means so we can put it up on our board. So just give me a second. Okay, so I looked up the word hydro. It's a prefix, which means it comes before another part of a word for water. So an example I thought of was like a fire hydrant holds water, and you guys have hydro flasks that hold water. So hydro is prefix for water. So when I look at it, hydro super sand, so super sand with water. I'm kind of curious to see what's going to come of this. So I looked at the directions to see what I needed. I needed a cup of water, a spoon, a strainer, and it says a placemat, but I don't have one of those, so I'm just going to be extremely careful. I also got another cup because it's trying to tell me that if I drain the water with this, the sand will come out completely dry. And I'm thinking about my trips to the beach I've taken. When sand gets wet, it doesn't come out dry. So I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to go. So I've got my cup of water and my scissors because there's no tear slip on these. So I'm going to start with pink. So I think it's a really pretty color that they have with sand. So it says to add the sand packet you want. Obviously I've chosen pink. And it says I can sculpt the sand into shapes underwater. Typically sand, when it's wet, is easier to sculpt. So let's see what happens. Whoa. Make sure I get all of it in there. So some of it sank almost instantly. I'm going to push it down a little bit with the spoon. As it gets wet, it starts to sink. And it's kind of sticking to my spoon. So I can push it around and sculpt it against the cup, which is kind of cool. Let me see if I can get the rest of this down in there. It's kind of hard to all get down in there. I'm wondering if it's just not taking to the water. Might be a good investigation. All right, so I've gotten most of it in there. And it's kind of cool to just push around at the bottom. It doesn't float back up. But it definitely in the cup looks like a completely different substance from here, which I think is pretty interesting because typically sand just looks like sand. And it's kind of sticking together as if it was like some kind of putty. So now that I've had a chance to kind of play with it a little bit, I want to know if this truly comes out dry because I don't really believe it. So I've got my extra cup and my strainer, and I am going to pour this out, and then Caitlin is going to come over and she's going to verify for us that this is actually dry and I'm not just trying to fool you guys. So I'm going to pour this into the cup. Here we go. So it came out looking like this in the strainer. And it is pretty dry. But Caitlin's going to come double check for us.
It's dry. Look at that. There's no water. None. Just flakes of sand. Science is cool.
So I'm pretty surprised by that. I like what she did when she ruffled it off her fingers like that. So I'm going to put this into a baggie and save it so that we can have it at school. But I am definitely going to have to keep playing with this because it is awesome.